everybody, and welcome to the League of Vana. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a Jinx bottom ADC commentary. Jinx obviously being the brand new champion that just came out for League of Legends, and she's quite fun to play and she has a pretty potent kit, so let's start talking about what she can do. So I'm going to start off by helping our jungler Warwick here get the blue buff, and then I'm going to immediately head down to our lane where we're going to be versing a Jinx and a Thresh combo. I would think that Thresh would be more helpful with Jinx just so you can get more DPS on your targets, but Nami turned out to be a really helpful support to have. So as you can see here, I sort of derp and fail my Flame Chompers, and the enemy Jinx puts hers down perfectly, but it doesn't matter because the bubble from Nami is going to secure that first blood, which is great, especially because this is my second Jinx game ever and I'm still getting used to her skills. And by the way, keep that in mind, this is not going to be like a professional Jinx game. I still have to get used to what she does, not to mention ADC is definitely not my main role. So let's talk about what Jinx can do. So her passive is going to be Get Excited. Basically anytime she kills a champion or a turret or assists in killing a champion or turret, she gets a 175% movement speed buff that lasts for 4 seconds and it decays over that time. This is great for team fights because as an ADC your role is very important in doing damage, and since kills are going to be going down left and right, you can reposition yourself with this movement speed. Not to mention you can also dodge a lot of skill shots. Her Q is going to be Switcheroo. Basically, it allows you to switch between two different weapons when you activate it. The first is going to be a short-range minigun that has a passive buff that increases your attack speed up to 3 times. So if you attack someone 3 times, you're getting the max attack speed buff. And the rocket launcher is going to have increased damage, but a slower attack speed. It's going to do splash damage to all enemies around the target, and it's going to be a longer range. So right there, Nami gets killed, so I go pretty hardcore towards Thresh because I don't want her death to be for nothing. The enemy Jinx does a good job of focusing me, but I place my Flame Chompers behind me, allowing me to escape. And we're going to talk about how good of a zoning tool those Flame Chompers are in a second. Jinx's W is going to be Zap. Basically, you shoot a skill shot in a very narrow line that if it hits an enemy, it will severely slow them as well as do damage. And you're right there, you can see that she missed hers, but I got mine on Thresh. And it also reveals enemies, so you can use it to face check bushes like I did right there. So this Nami is going to be very aggressive, and she actually gets a lot of deaths during this game, but it's not really that big of a deal because she does serve her purpose as a support fairly well with her bubbles. I'm going to get Thresh here with a nice zap. He turns around. If he kept running, he probably would have escaped me, and I'm going to outrun our enemy Jinx, especially because she misses her zap. So the zap is kind of an interesting skill because although it is a skill shot, it has a much narrower range than other skill shots, but the thing is it has a much longer range. You can shoot it much farther than other skill shots. So it's kind of tricky to hit, but it can hit people at a much longer range, so keep that in mind when you play Jinx. Jinx's E is going to be Flame Choppers, of course, and it's one of the best zoning tools in the game, very similar to Ziggs's proximity mines. Basically, you toss these in a line on the ground, and it will completely zone out your enemy champions because if they walk on top of them, they will actually get rooted as well as take damage. Obviously, this skill is going to have a ton of applications. You can completely zone out enemy champions. You can also secure your escapes, but keep in mind that although there is no casting time, so you can like sort of throw this when you're on the run, there is an activation time. Like if you throw it behind you, as soon as someone is right behind you, they're not going to get hit by it. They're just going to walk over it, so you gotta watch out for that. Finally, Jinx's ultimate is going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket, of course, and this is a global ult, very similar to Ashe's ult, except for that it hits multiple targets in a bigger range than Ashe's ult, and it also does more damage, whereas Ashe's ult is like the main use of it is to stun and slow. This ult is to finish off enemies, and right there I shoot it, and this, oh man, this Thresh flashes right out of it, and I was like, oh my god, that was so good. But I pick up the kill anyways with my Q by switching to Fishbones, the longer range rocket, and the range is just phenomenal on that. The trade-off, of course, is that you have less attack speed. So yes, I am building recommended just because I'm waiting for a good build to show up for Jinx. Recommended has served me fine. It starts off with a Doran's Blade, then goes into Berserker Greaves, then Infinity Edge, then Phantom Dancer, then Last Whisper, and all that stuff that you usually build for an ADC or some combination of that stuff. So right here I'm going to flash out of this threshold and barely get away. If Nami kept running straight back to our other turret, she probably would have lived. I don't know why she went that way. I'm not looking too far down. I'm focusing on my escape, so maybe she had no option, but either way she is going to get caught. But she actually gets out. I forgot about that. Yeah, she actually gets out and is able to heal up and help out mid, which is great. So up in mid right now are Teemo, Warwick, and Zed are fighting a Vayne, a Shen, and a Malzahar, and Zed is going to kill Malzahar almost instantly. Vayne is going to kill Warwick, and Nami is going to come up from the brush and do a perfect ult on these two, but they are actually going to get away even with Teemo Rather's poison, which totally sucks, but it was a close one. So I noticed at this point that my CS really isn't as high as it should be, and Jinx really excels at getting CS, especially with her Pow Pow minigun. The minigun just has insane attack speed. You can just farm up like a madman, and it's also amazing for taking down turrets. And keeping in mind that Jinx has that excellent passive, you can stay at turrets longer because you know you will be able to escape if the goings gets rough, and you are able to take down that turret. So right here, the Shen is going to go balls to walls towards me. I guess he doesn't realize that I'm kiting him like a madman. I put my W there just when I know that he's probably going to turn around, and he does. I try and follow with my rocket launcher, but the range is not that godlike that I can follow it up. Plus, obviously, Shen is very tanky, so I can't really do much. So I'm going to tell you guys right now that one of my biggest weaknesses in League of Legends is being a top ADC, and by top I mean top screen, just because I am so used to having a locked cam that it's really a huge disadvantage when I'm a top screen ADC, because I cannot see like tons of stuff below me, and if I have to use free cam, it really disorients me, and I know that's something that I have to work on since the majority of League players do use free cam, but I just cannot get the hang of it. And that's why when I play a top screen ADC, I really don't do nearly as well as I could if I was playing a bot screen ADC. But this Nami is going to be too aggressive yet again. She's going to fall, and I again want to make her death worth something, so I go in on this Vayne, and like an idiot I auto attack the minions for a couple seconds, and if I stayed here, if I didn't have my ult, I would have died, but I pick her up with my ult, which is obviously an execute, so that was a good use of it right there, and then I escape with absolutely no health, which is always very nice. Another thing to keep in mind, folks, is that because this is only my second Jinx game ever and I just bought her, I will most likely make an updated commentary once I get really good with her. Even though ADC is not my main role, I can do pretty well with a lot of ADCs like Tristana. So once I get way more acclimated to Jinx than I currently am, I will probably be making an updated commentary so I can give you guys much more insight. So there we take out the turret, and I'm rushing up with my passive way ahead of my minions, trying to see if I could do some damage to this turret, because with Jinx's Pow Pow minigun, she does do a ton of turret damage very fast, like I said. So I actually get the Vana curse a little early this game, folks. As you can see, I'm 4-0, so I'm feeling pretty confident. I think we can take on these people. Malzahar is going to come up towards us. He doesn't know we're here, so I'm going to go in on him immediately, which is going to force his flash. Then I'm going to come down here and join the fray and focus their Jinx. Nami's going to do a nice ult, allowing me to get their Jinx. Zed is going to die to Malzahar. I think I can take out this Vayne, but Shen is going to do an excellent taunt to me, securing my death, and I throw some flame choppers thinking I might be able to get away, but Thresh is going to do a literal death sentence on me through the wall, which was perfect, and I end up falling, so now I am 5-1. So right now we know they're going for Dragon. We know we can contest it and stop them, so we're all heading down to the Dragon Pit to do something about it. And it's actually going to be a pretty nice engage. So Teemo's going to go in on this Thresh. He's going to flash and do a perfect ultimate. Their enemy Jinx is going to throw some flame chompers behind her, stunning a couple of us, but it's not going to matter. I'm going to throw my flame chompers in front of them to secure all of their deaths, and we're going to leave for, I think it was like a 4-1, which is great. So I'm going to take this opportunity to farm up this huge minion wave, and like I said, with Jinx's minigun, you can absolutely just take down these minions so easily, and I really like the animation of the attack. It really allows you to know exactly when you're going to last hit and get that gold. So right here, I'm a complete idiot. I think I can take on this Vayne 1v1. Of course I can't, because it's Vayne, and Vayne is going to have a ton of damage. So even though I can weaken her at the start, she's actually going to tumble past my flame choppers. Now if she ran into the flame choppers, especially when her ult was activated, it might have turned out differently, but she tumbles through it. I don't think that was on purpose. I think it just worked out in her favor, and I die, so that was very stupid of me. So now I'm going top because I see this Shen is top, and with Teemo there, we might be able to kill him. He taunts into a mushroom, which I thought was funny. I don't know what the point of that was, but he's going to get away, and so I'm going to go middle now because I see there's an engage brewing. Their enemy Jinx is going to throw some flame chompers right there, stunning our Nami, who's going to fall almost immediately. Thresh does a nice ult, zoning us all out, and I'm going to focus Thresh, which is probably a mistake. I should have focused Jinx because that's her damage. I'm going to completely dodge her ultimate and get hit by the slow, and she's gonna DPS me down. I'm like, shit, but I get out, which is very nice, of course. So a lot of people criticize me for having early home guards, but you're about to see the benefit of having them right about now. So Vayne is underestimating me having home guards, and I'm going to run straight up to her. Unfortunately, Shen is here to taunt me. This guy is really on par with his taunts, and he's actually going to take a lot of turret damage though, and this Nami's going to do a really late ult, actually catching Shen. So I'm like, alright, well, we'll go after him, and I miss my zap. And so he gets away. If I hit that zap, might have been able to hit him. He still did have his taunt, might have been able to kill him, I mean. But whatever, I miss that zap a lot actually, and that's one of the hardest things about this champ for me anyways, is actually hitting that zap, because like I said, it does have a very narrow skill shot range. So there's going to be an engage mid now, and I'm trying to come up and catch up with my team and help them out. But keep in mind, as Jinx, you can always help out your team from afar with your global ult. It does do damage to everybody that is close to where it hits, so always be looking for opportunities to use your ult on a big group of enemies like I did there. You know, some people save it just to get the last hit for a kill, but when you're playing like a level 30 game, you're really focusing on winning, not just getting the last hits and the last kills. So always remember that as Jinx, you can help out your team by using your ult in team fights, even if you're not near your team. So right here I'm lingering because I know that they don't have this bush warded, and I'm sort of waiting to see if I can do anything. The Zed is going to come up and maybe bait this fight, which they actually do take the bait, and I'm going to come in here and throw my flame choppers. It's actually going to snare both, securing both of their kills on that Malzahar and on that Jinx, and really I should have got the kills, but Zed can have the kills, it's fine. So at this point I have my Infinity Edge, I have my Berserker Greaves, and I'm going for a Phantom Dancer, and I see right now that this Vayne is going to super overextend. I don't know what she was trying to do, maybe flank somebody, but yeah, she's going to definitely get caught. I'm going to try and be a douche and steal that kill, but it's actually going to miss her because she died and hit Thresh, which I guess is good, but you know, he's tanky at this point, so doesn't do any damage, and that was a complete waste of my ult. So we're going to start taking out this turret, but we're actually going to engage here. Their enemy Jinx uses her ult almost immediately, and as you can see, since she was shut down, it does basically no damage at all. I'm pretty kill hungry at this point, so I'm going to flash in and secure that kill with my long range Q on Thresh, and we're going to kill the enemy Jinx as well, and then we're going to get this turret. Now if I was smart, I would have just stayed behind and hit that turret and killed it since it was super low health, get my passive bonus, and then be able to rush in there and be more, I don't know, aggressive. But I was just focused on the kill. So always keep in mind that you do have your passive. It's something that you might forget as Jinx. So we're going to stay too long here because I want to do some damage to this turret, and we can be ballsy like that because I could just throw flame choppers whenever I see enemies coming in like that Vayne, and she got snared, and then we can get away as well as doing a tiny bit of damage to that turret. So now I'm going to head on down to the bottom lane, which I usually do whenever there's like a standstill in the game, and I'm going to try and farm, but I see that there's an engage in the middle. I'm going to come up here and get a perfect W on this Malzahar. As you can see, you really want to lead them. That was like a perfect lead, and this Zed is going to go in. This Thresh is going to try and save him, so I'm going to focus him. This Malzahar is going to come back in, so I should have switched targets, but I'm going to keep focusing Zed down because he's trying his hardest to save this Malzahar, and I'm going to get him with my ultimate. So at this point in the game, it's looking really good, and their Shen is going to say GG, which means their team is demoralized. I'm going to go ahead and grab red and go farm up, trying to get to level 18, which I usually do when like I said, there's a standstill in the game. And he also says to report Jinx because she went AFK. I guess she rage quit. So that really kind of secured our win. And if you guys didn't realize, I mean, we were kind of losing early game, so it was like a little turnaround, which is always nice to see. So right now we're feeling pretty confident. We know we can probably engage under their turret, even though it's kind of risky. I'm going to stay behind these walls and see if I can get any W off. By the way, I do max Q first for the damage, then E, then W. But in hindsight, I should probably start maxing W first because it probably does more damage than the E, and the E is mainly for utility. So keep that in mind as well. But I am staying in a pretty far range back here, trying to hit people with my W, and I shoot my ultimate at the perfect time to steal that Vayne kill, just because, oh man, that rocket is so fun to get kills with. The minigun, as you can see here, is just eating through this turret like instantly, and we're also going to take this inhibitor out as well. So they're actually going to surrender here, so that is GG. Thanks guys for watching this Jinx commentary. Like I said, once I get better with her, I will probably be making an updated commentary once like there's a good build out and I know exactly what I'm doing. This is just a quick look at the champion, sort of what she does, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys later. Bye.